Impact segment tonight, liberals pounding other liberals. As you may know, there is an intense debate in the White House over whether or not to send more troops to Afghanistan. Far left does not want that, and Vice President Biden opposes a troop escalation as well. But it looks like President Obama will send more troops, and if that happens, Arianna Huffington wants Biden to resign.
I thought it would be really important if the vice president, instead of waiting until after the fact to write the inevitable mea culpa memoir, telling us how forceful he was behind the scenes in opposing the war and how sorry he was that he wasn't listened, that he can actually do the right thing right now. And if this president chooses to escalate, he should resign.
Joining us now from Washington, radio talk show host Mark Levine, and from Los Angeles, Dr. Carolyn Heldman, politics professor at Occidental College. Doctor, begin with you. There does seem to be tension between the moderates in the Democratic Party and the far left. Have you picked that up?
Oh, absolutely. And I should admit that I fully agree with Arianna Huffington. I think every American should see the movie Rethink Afghanistan because it really complicates this issue. But you bring up the bigger point of what she's doing with calling for the resignation. She's very clearly kind of throwing this political firebomb, if you will, trying to put this on the agenda. And I think the fact that we're discussing it today is a clear sign that she's been effective in doing that.
All right, what do you say, Mr. Levine?
Well, no one's better at garnering publicity than Arianna Huffington, but her ridiculous suggestion that the vice president resign has done indeed what the doctor said it did. It's causing you, Bill O'Reilly, and the rest of America to talk seriously about our strategy in Afghanistan. So for that, it's a good thing.
But we always talk seriously about our strategy in Afghanistan. We don't have to need this to do it. But the interesting wrinkle here is that Huffington would want Biden to get out of there, embarrassing Barack Obama, Mr. Levine, and damaging the Democratic Party, I think, if he would resign as vice president. So I don't know where she's coming from on this one.
Well, I don't think it's a serious suggestion, but I do think.
But she looked serious. Didn't she look serious?
Yeah, well,
she wasn't
like
laughing.
I said, Arianna Huffington is someone who likes to get publicity.
What do you say? Is it a serious suggestion, doctor, or what?
I would agree. I don't think it's a serious suggestion. But again, it has certainly raised the attention. And you mentioned earlier that you think we do have serious discussions. I think that your show, your viewers, are pretty well educated on the subject. However, the national debate on this is paltry. I don't think folks know about what a quagmire Afghanistan has become. I think the most shocking statistic I've seen is that in 2009, troops in Afghanistan, our troops in Afghanistan, are 16 times more likely than someone in Iraq to die from fighting there. And so I think it's really important that we consider this for so many different reasons, and our troops' protection being one of the primary reasons.
You said, doctor, that you support Arianna Huffington's position on Afghanistan, which is basically to get the hell out of there. I always wondered what you would say if we did that, and then the Taliban came in, which they would, overthrow Karzai and his government, which would last about a week, and then reinstituted the brutalization against women, against anybody who doesn't toe the fundamentalist line, and then reinstitute the al-Qaeda training camps. Would that be okay with you, doctor?
Well, I think 2 points on that. The first is that I think it's a myth that women aren't being mistreated in Afghanistan while we're there. In fact, Karzai basically legalized rape.
You think there's a comparison between mistreatment of women under Karzai and the Taliban?
No, but I do think that women are being seriously mistreated, and if you watch Rethink Afghanistan, it actually provides footage from women in Afghanistan.
Okay, footage is fine, but women are allowed to go to school now and allowed to hold jobs and allowed to vote. Under the Taliban, they barely get out of the house.
And
so, I mean, doctor, that's a pretty...
raped by their husbands.
Yeah.
But it's not improved dramatically, and that's my point. If there was a reason for us to be there, and I should say, I don't think Arianna Huffington, and certainly not I, are calling for a full-scale withdrawal, but we need to consider the fact that, al-Qaeda has really moved to Pakistan, and yet we spend 30 times the amount of money in Afghanistan.
It's not hard to get back there if the Taliban's running the show. Mr. Levine, do you see my point here? That you're going to have terror camps, you're going to have the same thing that happened before 2001 reinstituted, exactly the same.
Bill, I think you're fighting a straw man here. That may be Arianna Huffington's position, but it certainly is not the vice president's position to withdraw from Afghanistan. I don't know many serious commentators that think we should immediately withdraw. The point of what Vice President Biden was saying is there's a smarter strategy, that Afghanistan is a very poor, very mountainous country. It's very hard to occupy every single town and hamlet, and it might be more appropriate to do a guerrilla strategy against them, too.
It's possible, but when your commanders, your hand-picked commanders, Petraeus and McChrystal, are both saying, give us the troops, we need to provide security. But the far left, I think it's fair to say, doesn't care whether the Taliban come back and take over. I mean, they just feel it's not worth the fight. And that's frightening to me. That is frightening to me.
I don't think that's fair at all, Bill. You remember there's only one member of Congress out of 535 that voted against the war in Afghanistan. You can call her far left. She's Barbara Lee. But she represents a very, very small portion of the liberals and of the Democratic Party.
It's different now. I think that vote would be much, much different. Dr. Mr. Levine, thanks very much. We appreciate it.